Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 26th. It's June. It's the year 2020. And it's early. And I tried to make this video last night, but I couldn't get it done, so I'm doing it now. You're looking at a YouTube channel called Black Scout Survival. I've followed him since 2010, probably. And he apparently is catching on to what's going on as far as the civil war that's being fomented, etc., but doesn't quite understand what's going on in the background. So I left a comment. Do you see what I'm saying? And somebody left another comment saying, if there was a reset, you wouldn't be able to read about it. Well, that's not exactly accurate whatsoever at all. Because some of us we don't watch the mainstream. We don't have televisions. We literally watch things like the International Monetary Fund, what Bilderberg is doing, what the guys at CERN are doing, what the guys at D-Wave are doing, artificial intelligence, Starlink, patents for televisions, computer monitors, etc., 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 which allows us to look at things like paperwork from MIT that are working with Bill Gates and draw conclusions like this before the pandemic is even introduced to the United States. This video right here was a live stream we did on January 7th, well before this pandemic was even a thought in America.
So
that one thing you just said about getting rid of one of the best ways to get rid of the money is because everybody touches it and there's a germ. We were just talking about the Bill Gates funding MIT and Bill Gates backing him, of course, because Bill loves people. He's always trying to help people out, whether he's poking your children with a needle or spraying things in front of the sun so you don't get that pesky sunburn. Bill loves people. They have the invisible ink tattoo that can be read remotely so they can tell if you've gotten your vaccines. Why would they need that unless there was a pandemic? That's the next step. And that ties right into what you just said. That'll do just like they always do. It'll be multifaceted. Force everyone, or actually make everybody want a vaccine because nobody wants to get sick, and then get rid of the money. Now, this is the paperwork that I was reading, and it's the exact solution that they're trying to provide people. An invisible ink tattoo from Bill Gates and MIT where they could remotely detect if you've been vaccinated or not. Do you see what I'm saying? This came out on the 18th. And I'm not showing you that video to say, see, I told you so. I'm showing you that if you look, it depends what you read. Depends what you find interesting. This is the kind of stuff we read, and you can see things like a fake pandemic coming down the road. In that live stream on January 7th, before any of this broke, we were talking about the first thing they would do is go after the dollar. And it is. It absolutely is. That's the first thing that they did was go after the dollar. And they're going to continue. You see what I mean? So it isn't rocket science. It's just like I said, you watch the mainstream, you don't know anything. If you read behind the scenes, if you read what the wealthy people read, you do know what's going on. They're not hiding it. Not from each other, at least. Now, the guy in the comment section said, if there was going to be a great reset, you'd never know about it. Well, this is the World Economic Forum's YouTube channel, and this is June 3rd, 2020. You see that? The Great Reset. So let's take a look at this. The Great Reset is going to be foisted on Americans in the world until people finally tap out. The deal is we lose our liberties, we lose our money, we lose our rights to everything, and then they usher in a one world government. Period. I mean, just look it up. That's all you have to do is look it up. And it amazes me that in the times we find ourselves in, people are still watching the mainstream. People are still afraid to look into something for themselves for fear of being considered a conspiracy theorist. You want to know why you're seeing headlines like this about this virus, even though nobody actually knows anyone that's got sick or died from COVID unless it's been on the mainstream media, and it's always some elderly person that was already sick in a nursing home that got labeled with COVID? You want to know why you keep seeing this? You want to know how we told you a second wave was coming, and here it is? You want to know why you're seeing ridiculous numbers like this? Ridiculous. 115% change. 190% change. All the states that just said, F you, this is ridiculous, nobody's sick, everything is fine. You want to know why you're seeing all of this? Because billionaires, the same people that want the Great Reset, the same people that are going to trick the entire world into believing the Great Reset is a good thing for humanity, own the media, and always have. Period. What do you think they're going to do? Wealthy people buy all the media. They own all the media. They own Hollywood. They own everything. Everything you research that isn't from a patent, that isn't from whitehouse.gov, mit.com. If you don't go directly to the source and you instead go to stupid things like the mainstream, you're going to hear what they want you to hear because they own it. It isn't a secret. Funny that the states that are trying to open up and be normal American cities after all this time are the ones that are getting smoked according to these ridiculous numbers. I've been telling people for 2 years that this number that just keeps skyrocketing is because no one's ever going to pay the bill. They knew they were going to do this, and that's what the Great Reset's going to be. They're going to give everybody a digital dollar. Everyone's going to be on a social credit score, meaning if you don't agree with what everyone else agrees with, your social credit score will fall, and you won't be able to fly, you won't be able to get on a train, you might not be able to buy something in the store. You want to see why this is all of a sudden all the rage? Because after the COVID thing, people started realizing that, wow, the only thing that changes is if I turn the television off, everything's fine. Well, they can't risk people getting together and fighting back. So they pull off this. They pull off this and divide the country even further. And again, see all this over here? That's because they own the media. You see what I mean? See how that all works? You see how this is all becoming mainstream? The global reset has been something we've been talking about for years, and they've been talking about it for months now. For months. The fact that you don't know it doesn't make it not real. I published this way back in March, and it got taken down by YouTube, of course. But this is the actual Dr. Fauci telling everybody in the New England Journal of Medicine, which is not a mainstream newspaper, that COVID is just a simple mild cold, which is all it is. It's a simple mild cold. The numbers that they're showing you that are cause for a pandemic are absolutely ludicrous, laughable. We show this almost every day. This is the amount of people that have died so far from a flu, almost 250,000. Kids under 5, almost 4 million. Abortions this year, almost 21 million. Look at these numbers. How come none of these are a pandemic? Suicides, according to what COVID has the entire world under right now, suicides should be a pandemic. Alcohol is a pandemic. Smoking is beyond a pandemic. Malaria is a pandemic. Cancer is a pandemic. AIDS is a pandemic. And the seasonal flu has killed twice as many people as COVID-19's claimed to have killed. Do you understand this? This is the end game. According to them, this mild flu means they need to give you a biometric vaccine, which means it's a vaccine
that has literal, let's call them computer parts inside, that will allow them to track and trace you no matter where you are at all times. Are you good with this? Does this make sense to you? Do you not see this now? I'm going to leave links in all the description so you can research this for yourself. Is there a purge coming? Absolutely. Is there a civil war coming? Absolutely. Is it organic and happening on its own? Has the government lost control and young kids with cell phones and masks are taking over the world? Not at all. It's all part of the program. You need to understand this. The same people that are telling you what to do are the same people that own the media. When you own the media, you can put out things like this. Turn off your television. I've been from here to 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 here and then here again since this entire thing broke out. And I have, what is it, 550,000 subscribers on YouTube alone, 15,000 on Twitter, 10,000 on Instagram. My job is to meet and talk to people, and I've yet to meet anyone that's been affected by COVID whatsoever at all. And yet if you look at the mainstream, it's just out of control. Everyone's dying. And if we don't do what these people say, they're going to burn down the country, and there's nothing that can be done about it. The only thing they can do about it is take away your rights, your First and your Second Amendment. And that's exactly what they're doing. I've been covering this since day one, and YouTube has taken it down and taken it down and taken it down. But fortunately, on this website, lbry.tv, it's all been saved. This is a hoax. All of this is a hoax. All they want is this, which is why you're going to start seeing this word constantly. Absolutely constantly. Since I left that comment and the guy replied saying, if there was a great reset, you wouldn't know about it, this popped up. But I already knew about this because I told you about the great reset a couple of weeks ago. At any rate, Richie from Boston, this is your country. This is your life. You should learn what's really going on. Turn off your fucking television. I'm out.